UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast, here on the United Federation of Podcast Network. I'm your host for today, Justin, and joining me are my co-hosts, Chrissy and Brandon. So, Brandon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to be here. Just came back from a nice family vacation at Kink's Mugato Reserve there. So, yeah, got myself a nice shirt and some big fluffy Mugato slippers.
Sure.
Fake Mugato, I hope.
No, definitely real. It was from before. You don't want to waste it, right?
Very true.
Yeah.
So tell me, is there a place in the gift shop that's behind like a black curtain?
Yes, there is. Yeah. So
it's okay.
Like a Spencer's
And
in the
did
90s?
And did you get something behind that curtain? I have to ask. No,
This is
you
a
don't have to
family
answer.
podcast.
Yes, true. Well, yes, kind of. But Chrissy, I don't know what you're going to say after that, but how are you doing?
I don't know what to say after that either, so I'll go not with a joke. I'm doing well, thank you.
You're doing well. Okay.
Okay,
All
now,
right.
just what you guys hear, now that we've introduced everybody here, I'll let you guys take the lead if you don't mind. I'm just going to sit back and watch.
Oh, God. Please, Brandon, don't let your hand go up toward the top of your head, please. All right, so let's move on, please. So, also joined with us and wondering maybe why she is here is Marina Kravchuk, co-host of the Shore Leave podcast. So, Marina, welcome to Infinite Diversity.
Thank you very much for having me. This is going to be an interesting discussion, I can see.
Oh, yeah, it's always interesting. Well, I mean, we've hit the lowest point first, so it's only up higher from here, I think. But
things just raise from here. So.
Oh, gee.
That too.
You're going to be incorrigible on this one, Brandon. Okay, but Marina, so it's great to have you here. You do co-host the Shore Leave podcast, which I have to say, when I was first going to Star Trek Las Vegas, was a huge help in getting me oriented to all that I needed to know going to my first Star Trek convention. So love the podcast and what it helped me to do. And I also got to meet you in person at least one STLV, maybe multiple, right?
Probably, yeah, at least two, I think, at this point. But thank you very much for saying this. And as you can imagine, our podcast has basically been put in a very strange position because there has been no outlet, so to speak. We had no conventions to cover. You know, the virtual stuff, everybody was attending. I mean, you can hardly say, well, what else did you watch on YouTube yesterday? So, you know, we try to do some, you know, sort of convention-related things, but then things sort of, you know, we basically produce very little at the moment. But I'm keeping fingers crossed that things will jumpstart soon enough. We already had Vegas, yay, and you know, a few other conventions are coming up, so hopefully.
So yeah, hopefully, but yeah. So Marina, when people are on the podcast for the first time, I'd like to ask them about their history with Star Trek. So just tell us, you know, maybe how you first got into Star Trek and what it's meant to you.
I bumped into it when my family just immigrated into the United States back in 1998. Both Voyager and Deep Space Nine were still on the air, so that was sort of like, okay, things were happening live. And then while I was at college, TNG was nearly constantly on reruns, and same goes actually for the original series. So you can say that I was hit like from 4 different sides simultaneously. And I was an armchair fan for probably close to a decade before I finally went to my first convention. And that was certainly, you know, it totally exploded my brain because I finally not only got to meet other fans, I got to meet the actual actors. So that was absolutely wonderful. And since then, it just kind of all became, I basically got pushed in and plugged in deeper and deeper into the fandom for, I don't know, well, now it's over a decade now. So, oh gosh, Star Trek is an amazing thing. For me, it's hope. And the fact that I'd say probably at this point, pretty much almost every single friend that I have somehow, one way or another, is connected to Star Trek. So it's very near and dear, and I don't know what I'd do without Star Trek.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that. Well, and I think we feel the same way about Star Trek. It's just meant so much to us, and it's just so glad that those things kind of hit you from all those directions in the late '90s, and
it's curious because
still watching it.
When people start talking about their favorite series and everything, and for me, it's always been Voyager / Next Generation, and it's always curious, like, why is that? Because in my case, I did get exposed to 4 different series that we had at the time, nearly simultaneously, and yet it was specifically those two, and let's say Voyager more than the TNG actually, that somehow are the make the most for me, do the most for me rather, than the other two. So I don't know. That's just me, I suppose. And now we have another explosion, another wave of fandom cresting with all the new production. So I don't know. I'm kind of waking up thrilled every day just to see what else they're gonna come up with.
Yeah, definitely. So, I appreciate you telling us about that. But before we kind of jump into the episode for today, we just want to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make the show possible, particularly our associate producer, David Willett, who has now joined me on this list as an associate producer. Thank you, David, for doing that. So listeners, we'd love to add your name to this list, and we can do that with your monthly subscription of just $10 a month at patreon.com/UFPearth. So hopefully you check that out and can support us if you can. All right, so let's talk about a few news items before we talk about the Lower Decks episode we're here to talk about today. So the first thing that came about not too long ago as we record this, 4 or 5 days ago, is the Prodigy opening credits sequence, which I thought was amazing, and it was great just to see that. So just wanted to talk about it a little bit. So Marina, what did you think about this kind of opening sequence when it came out?
Oh, God, I loved it. It was just generally the animatics is so beautiful. The quality of this computer graphics is just staggeringly beautiful. I love the fact the way they did it, and I'm going to assume that we're probably going to have the names of the characters appearing just as we get the visual representation of the character in the shot.
I think so. Yeah.
But it's just so beautifully done. My first thought was that it's somehow connected to where the characters are coming from until it hit me. Oh no, that's actually the character. That's Rotak, and Janeway is obvious. So the way they just formed it, it's great. The music is it has yet to grow on me, to be honest. But it kind of fits with the usual. You get this wonderful orchestral score. For those who haven't seen, Trekcore got a little bit nuts with substituting different pieces of music with the visuals.
Yes, I have.
And I was amazed actually at how well it worked. Both with
it works.
Both with I think they substituted the Voyager theme for it, the Enterprise theme, and they even went as far as putting Led Zeppelin to it. So it was great.
Oh, and they did Beastie Boys Sabotage, which I was one of the people requesting that, and it worked. It all worked.
Beautiful.
So it's amazing. It's like this blank template of stuff you can put it on. But
it's amazing how it all fit beautifully. It's like regardless of what type of music was playing, it just went straight on.
Yeah, although I think somebody commented on that, and somebody from Trekcore was like, well, we do have some video editing that we do just to make sure it kind of syncs up. But yeah, it's wonderful. So, Chrissy, what did you think about the kind of opening sequence we got for Prodigy?
I liked it. It's beautiful. I am sure I will come to love the music. I don't hate it. It takes a little while for me, to get into that part. But what I had written down to say was the best part of it was Trekcore redoing the music. So I have.
Yeah, it got like a life of its own for days and
days.
Oh,
it was beautiful. Yeah. And I think the one that worked the best, that was most unexpected, was the theme from Perfect Strangers.
Yeah,
that was just very funny.
I love Led Zeppelin. I have to admit, Led Zeppelin was my favorite.
That was pretty
that's a
cool
good one
too.
Yeah.
So, all right.
My favorite was the Golden Girls theme song.
I missed that. Did they do that?
No,
I don't think they've done that. That happened in Brandon's mind.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Ooh, I need to go off and suggest that to them because I would love that.
Yeah.
Because we're both fans of the Golden Girls.
Yes.
Or we all are. Mm-hmm. So, Brandon, what did you think about this opening sequence?
I think I'm par for the course here with our two hosts that have talked so far. I thought it was visually stunning. It's really beautiful. I'm really looking forward to it. The music wasn't anything to write home about. I hope it grows on me, but right now I'm just like, it's okay. So, I think my favorite theme song so far is, Lower Decks out of what we've got so far. But I mean, the Picard theme I didn't like for the first couple of times I heard it, and it took until about episode 3 before it really started to work for me. So I just hope that this theme song takes just a couple episodes for it to work on me.
Yeah,
it's fine, the music, but it's visually stunning, and I'm so looking forward to the show. So.
Yeah, I've been excited about the show, and I keep getting more and more excited about it. And yeah, visually it's very stunning. I love all the scenes where you see the protostar of the ship. I really like the music. I mean, sometimes it takes a little while to grow on you. I remember when they first released the opening sequence for Discovery. Wow, this is like 4 years ago now. I was like, I don't know what to make of this. But pretty quickly, even like a day or two later, as I listened to it more, I was like, I love this, and it became one of my favorite themes. So I really like the Prodigy theme. I feel like it gives an idea of just kind of, to me, hopefulness and kind of the exploration of what's out there. So I think it gives a good idea, I think, of where the show is going.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I hadn't put in the news here, I'm sure we'll get it revealed a couple days after this comes out on Star Trek Day, but I had noticed on IMDb they're listing Prodigy as starting on October 21st, the week after Lower Decks Season 2 ends, which makes sense, but hadn't seen it anywhere else. So we're in for Star Trek every week for our lives, I think. So, which is fine. But yeah, no, I loved it. I think that we're going to get probably another trailer for it on Star Trek Day, along with tons of other stuff. But it was just exciting that they put it out there just to, get people excited. So, all right. So for the next thing here, we did have an announcement about Picard. So Annie Wershing, I think that's how you pronounce it, is going to be portraying the Borg Queen in Picard Season 2. So I think that's a very interesting development. Marina, what did you think about this news when it came out?
Overall, I'm very curious how they're going to do it, because from what we can tell, they're being thrown into, I don't know, is it alternate timeline? Is it an alternate universe? 7 weeks up without her implant, so which kind of sort of implies there is no Borg wherever they get thrown in. So what, I wish they didn't specifically say that she's playing the Borg Queen. I wish they would just announce, okay, she's joining the cast for some unannounced character, and then we would be very much surprised to find out that that's a Borg Queen in whichever shape or form it actually is. She actually is. So, overall, I'm excited. I want to see. I can't wait all these little bits and pieces that they keep adding, whether in the form of dropped rumors or actual announcements. I can't wait to see what happens. Right now, it seems like we have an interesting collection where we have definitely characters with connections. We have Picard, that obviously has a lot of connections to the Borg, and then we have the Q, which has connections to Picard and the Borg, and then of course there's the rumored appearance of Guinan. So how it all ties in, I guess we won't see until the season actually drops. But all in all, it's kind of interesting to see that they're considering adding Borg to it again.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting just to see how it will be. Yeah, there'll be these alternate universes or timelines, presumably from what we've seen, and maybe it can be how things might have been in one of them or something. I guess we don't know yet. But Brandon, what did you think about this?
I think that Star Trek couldn't keep a secret if their life depended on it.
Yes.
Well, this is less about keeping a secret and more, this was an intentional thing that they were like, hey, here's what's happening. But yeah.
Right. I don't know. I'm excited. Like, obviously, this can be interesting to see. I'm a little concerned with how many times they're dipping into the fandom well for this particular season here. Like, they're, from when they went in season 1, where they're like, we're going to keep it as contained as we can. We're not going to make this the Next Generation 2. Well, now they're making it the Next Generation 2, right? So, I mean,
maybe we haven't seen the season yet.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't seen the season, except that they're bringing in all these things from the Next Generation, right? So, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it. But it feels like it's a lot of stuff that they're going back to the well on, and obviously we're a long ways away, and so. These are just initial impressions. Obviously, I'm excited to check it out. She's a great actress. I saw her on 24, so I'm not concerned about her.
And she was also on Enterprise in the episode Oasis.
Yep,
which
she
was
was,
right.
yes. So, she's good. So I'm not concerned about that. But I didn't read the article. Somebody said that there's some kind of a major spoiler in the article, so I haven't read it yet. So I don't quite know what that is.
In In Trek Core's recapping of it, or the Deadline article?
Probably the Deadline article, I think, because I think that's where it was
could
shared.
be.
So
I hadn't read that full article.
Yeah, so, but I don't know what that could possibly be. I'm just looking forward to it. I mean, I just look at another show that I love that's on right now, The Mandalorian, and how like they literally kept secret that Mark Hamill was coming back as Luke Skywalker for the final episode of the second season. They kept that quiet. It was a frickin' surprise, and it was an amazing surprise to see that happen. You know, and like just Star Trek just cannot do that. They're just
there have
incapable.
Been some things that have been surprises,
like
Culber being killed. That was definitely a surprise that nobody knew was coming. I mean, I'd have to think about some other examples, but there have been some things. But yes, they have been kind of put. It makes me wonder though, if they are putting these things out, how much else is there that we don't know that will come as a surprise? You know, don't know. But Chrissy, what did you think?
I first just heard that the actress was coming on, and then it wasn't until I looked at the outline in the article that you posted that I knew that she was.
Oh, so I spoiled it for you?
Well, it's not a spoil at this point, but
well, you hadn't seen it.
Well, that part, but here's the thing. Okay, so I have ever since they said that Q was going to be in this season, I have been saying that we're going to see a timeline where he doesn't introduce him to the Borg. Okay, that was like my first thought about it, because you have got you know, an older Picard. What are the things in his life that could have gone differently? And you know, if you're going to, I suspect part of this season is going to be like a many episode version of not Timescape. The one
Parallels.
No,
which one are you thinking of?
The one where Picard learns that he had to get stabbed through the heart to be.
Tapestry.
Thank you. I had the tea. And the right season. Anyway, right. So I think we're going to see like a half of a season long Tapestry thing. So if he doesn't, you know, if he's not introduced to the Borg, do we still see the Borg? That was kind of questionable. That never, you know, has been properly answered if they were actually heading in the direction of the Federation prior to Q introducing them. At least I don't think it has. But then I was like, okay, so we're going to find out this is Picard does not become Locutus, and where do we go from there? But then when I was cooking lunch/dinner this afternoon, okay, I had this like epiphany. So I was thinking about it.
Okay.
If there's no Locutus, there's no Wolf 359. If there's no Wolf 359, Jennifer Sisko doesn't die. Jennifer Sisko doesn't die. Ben Sisko does not end up on DS9. And the Reckoning artifact.
Therefore, Avery Brooks is going to be in this
awesome.
thing. Very probably not.
Yeah.
No, but the Reckoning artifact. Everybody's saying, why is the Reckoning artifact in his office? So I don't have anywhere to go with that beyond just like I was sitting there and I was like, oh, wait, Sisko wouldn't be on DS9, and it just, you know. I'm so excited.
I mean,
yeah, but that's a very valid point. I mean, it's going back to the same thing. Seven does not get assimilated as a child. That's why she wakes up without the implant.
Well, no, Seven was assimilated prior to Wolf 359 because her parents went off.
Yeah, but if there's like no Borg period somehow in that particular timeline.
yeah, no Borg, yeah.
Yeah, if things have changed enough.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to say, like, they can't keep a secret necessarily, but I feel like they always drop the information in a very planned way. So the fact that they say, okay, she's going to recur as Borg Queen, and they keep saying it's a Borg Queen. Is it the Borg Queen the way we think of Borg Queen, the way it is in TNG and First Contact and Voyager? Or is it just some entity or the person who actually, I don't know, is it going to be a version of an origin story for the Borg? Like, we actually figure out how the Borg came to be? And then things kind of get put...
Or an alternate timeline
and then things get put back together, so you do end up with the Borg in the universe. So it's all very... I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be curious to see what they're going to pull out of the mix like that.
Or maybe it could... I think maybe it's unlikely they would go this route, but maybe there's, you know, an alternate universe where the Borg are actually benevolent, and there is some other trade-off of something that gets made worse. I don't know what it would be, but I just have that idea that could be interesting to play with that if you're thinking about doing the Borg in a different way than we've seen them before. I don't know. But also from what you were talking about, Chrissy, with, they did have that reckoning artifact and all that. One thing I've been thinking about lately is we've had lots of TNG and Voyager connections in these different shows, but we haven't had as many DS9 connections. Yeah, there have been a little bit here and there. But I think it would be cool if they had a bigger connection to Deep Space Nine in some way, or actually, built a set that was part of DS9 at some point and just go there and see what happens. I would love that.
Acknowledge
I don't know if they'll do that.
Any
but
way or shape or form,
it's like the one 24th century show we really haven't gotten much connection to lately.
It's because in general fandom, not us, okay, not like the hardcore fandom, in general fandom, D Space Nine is the crappy show, right? Yeah. I mean, you and I, Dustin, it's our favorite show, right? But in general fandom, D Space Nine is the crappy, boring one that's just on the space station, right?
Yeah.
Or
so
people
they
haven't
don't
seen
go
it,
to
because
that one.
I talked to people, a few people who are even Star Trek fans, like at my work, just because they see like the Picard poster behind me and they're like, oh, I love TNG and all that. Yeah. So we talk about it, and some of them haven't seen it, or they're just like, I'm not that into DS9, because it's quite different. So, but I think it would be good for them to make some kind of connection.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. So, we'll see.
I love your thought there, Chrissy, though. I love that thought process that you came up with. That's wonderful.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, we may find out more on Star Trek Day if we get another trailer. So
kind of hoping that
would be
we're
awesome.
going to be fed the same thing that we did during the first Contact Day. I didn't know which way to look, because they were dropping all the teaser trailers.
Yeah, well, it's my hope that we'll get trailers for all 5 shows, but I don't know if we'll have that. But so I guess one last news item, as we're talking about Picard, is basically now we know, based on some things posted on social media by people involved in the show, that production on Season 2 of Picard has wrapped, and they're moving right away to Season 3, which I think has been talked about, but maybe not officially confirmed, that they're just moving right on to Season 3. So I think that's great. I mean, I don't know what that means, if they'll want to like air them back to back, or what that would be like. But I think that's, since Season 2 is done, we'll get it sometime next year, and then Season 3, who knows? But Marina, what do you think about that?
It's exciting. It just confirms that they're doing exactly what they've announced they're going to be doing, which is what you said. Every single week we're going to have week to week Star Trek just dropping. So let's see, we ending the lower decks, then presumably Prodigy drops, and presumably Discovery, and then after Discovery's done, I'm assuming Picard Season 2 would be a go, and then whatever else the next
and lower
thing.
decks.
Well, Strange New
Worlds.
And then Lower Decks will have another.
Strange New Worlds.
And then Lower Decks will have another. Yeah. I think they're working on a Lower Decks Season 3
that's
as well.
What
so
Michael
it's like,
McMahon thinks. He's in the middle of writing Season 3 right now. So that's going to be. So I'm just thrilled. It's like, please keep going, keep writing. We're ready to consume.
It's amazing to get. Ready to consume it. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing just to get so much, right? And like, not everything is going to be to everybody's taste, but I mean, I think there's something in like all of these shows that somebody can really like or be into. So, but Chrissy, any thoughts on Picard moving on from Season 2 to 3 production already?
This is going to sound really terrible, but yes, get the entirety of the show, get the entirety of the season, whatever they're going to do, in the can, because Patrick Stewart's almost 90, right? So
it's very morbid, Chrissy. But yes, let's get more stuff
Chrissy,
with him on.
Huh?
I think he's in great shape.
The glass is half full. It's not half empty. Okay, Chrissy.
I was raised Catholic. I don't know how to think that way. No, I mean,
Patrick Stewart's going to be doing Picard until he's 100.
Yeah,
I'm convinced.
Please, I am not, obviously, but I'm not. But I'm like, I just can see that happening, and it would, we don't want to deal with that.
Like, we don't tend to verbalize it, but it is something I think in the back of our minds. Yes, he's getting older. Mm-hmm. He's going to pass someday, but I think he's in pretty good shape and doing pretty well.
Oh, he is. If anybody's going to live to be 120, it's going to be Patrick Stewart. So that's fine.
Yeah, and Keith Richards.
Yes, they'll be the only ones left. We're going to have a nuclear war. It'll be Patrick Stewart and Keith Richards, and they'll be like, well, we can't repopulate the Earth, so...
Okay, that went a different direction than I thought it would. But
before we...
Did you ever see that meme going around that says, we really need to take global warming seriously. We got to really think about what kind of world we're going to leave for Keith Richards.
Yes! I have seen that with him. I have seen that with Betty White, too. Which is also great.
But sorry, go ahead,
no,
Chrissy.
No, that's all right. Before we get at the news, I just wanted to, if we're done with that part, wanted to remind everybody that if you're listening to this on the day it drops, Star Trek Day, of course, is tomorrow. And everything...
Oh, that's right. It is one day after.
And everything is in primetime Eastern. So it's going to...
For the U.S.
For the U.S., excuse me, yes. It's going to start at 5:30 Pacific, which is 8:30 Eastern. And they have the schedule up. I'll put the thing in the show notes, the URL. But it goes introduction, Prodigy, and then the first panel addressing an earlier show is DS9.
Oh.
So
that's before they get to Picard and the other
stuff?
Yeah,
it's introduction, welcoming remarks, Prodigy, DS9, Discovery, Enterprise, Strange New Worlds, Voyager, Lower Decks, TOS.
That's right. The Enterprise
Legacy.
Strange New Worlds connection is happening.
Yep. And
so maybe we shouldn't read too much into it because they're just
Picard.
interspersing them, but
maybe.
But yeah.
But I saw that and I was like, interesting.
It is interesting. I'm definitely gonna. I know, Brandon, you said you're not going to be able to watch her. It's not your thing, but I'm definitely going to be watching live if I can get away with it.
I'm so glad because I'm teaching on Wednesdays, so it's going to be after I'm done teaching. I'll actually be able to watch it. If I had done it at like noon, I wouldn't have been able to. So.
And as usual, Brandon will give you the play-by-play on Messenger.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God, this happened. Yeah. So yes, that's
and then
very
I'll skip
exciting.
it all because there'll be like 800 messages. I'm like, I can't read all this.
We do that sometimes.
Highlights. Here's
all
a trailer.
right. Well, anyway, very exciting times for Star Trek, of course, and there'll be a ton more to talk about next episode. But now that we've talked about the news for our usual 20 minutes, let's talk about Lower Decks Season 2, Episode 4, Mugato Gumato. All right, so we like to start with first impressions. And Marina, since this is your first time on the show, maybe tell us kind of generally what you've thought about Lower Decks and then kind of overall what you think about this episode. And then kind of after that, we'll go into specific plot lines.
Sure. Lower Decks for me is a love letter to the TNG era. And as such, because I'm a TNG era fan primarily, I just love it. Yes, there are sometimes they hit moments where I'm like, well, that didn't quite hit it for me. Or they went a little bit too far. I cannot on top of my head remember the episode in the first season where I just kind of was just cringing. But overall, I laugh out loud literally every single time that I watch it. There's going to be at least one moment in an episode when I would be laughing out loud. So generally speaking, I love it. This particular episode, I can see what they were going. They kind of playing around with forms of humor, I suppose. So I can totally see how this particular episode might not actually work for even those people who are enthusiasts for Lower Decks. It was a little bit more
I did see some
adult,
of that. Yeah.
I think. So it's a little bit of like, oh God, I forget whether Trek movie or Trek Core, somebody says like a hangover type humor. So I can totally see how it might not work. Having said that.
Yeah, I think this was the first. I read the Trek movie and Trek Core articles or reviews, and this is the first time that both of them were mixed on an episode. I thought that was interesting.
And my personal opinion on that is also mixed. On one hand, I still enjoyed it greatly. As a matter of fact, I rewatched it just before we started recording, just so that I have refreshed it, so to speak, even though I literally just watched it a couple of days ago. I laughed. There were plenty of moments. They had some good Star Trek stuff, the whole bit about the compromise. At the same time, you have certain scenes where kind of like, I don't know, should I be like a 10-year-old and close my eyes and not watch? I don't know. But there were moments where I felt the whole thing, first of all, like in the name, Mugato, Gumato, the whole thing. I mean, how many, they pronounced it, I think, at least 6 different times, 6 different ways during the episode. And that just cracked me up because it's so meta, because that's the reference to the original series where DeForest Kelley could not pronounce it, so they renamed the creature. The whole bit is just, every time they were like, okay, Mugato, and I'm like, oh God, this is just too funny. And then, of course, again, having, I already said, it's a love letter to Tingy, so you have all these little bits, whether you have the Ferengi cracking their whips, and, you have Denobulas appearing, and you have all the little callbacks to everything else that came before, where you just kind of go like that meme with Leonardo DiCaprio, pointing the arm, like, yes, I recognize where this is from. So it's, this one is a mixed in terms of, like, the type of humor that they use, but overall, I have to say that I still enjoyed the episode. Yeah, it's not going to be one of my favorite in the season. I am certain of it. As a matter of fact, I think so far the one with the Tom Paris plate is my favorite. But they keep trying. They keep working.
Too.
They keep coming up with new stuff. So that's what I love about Lower Decks. They just keep going at it.
They're definitely trying different things each episode. Okay, that's good. So, Chrissy, what did you think of this one overall?
It was all right. Not bad. Not my favorite. Especially after the last few where it was just like, oh, this is so good. We'll get into it later, but it felt a little Mel Brooksian to me, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but not what I was expecting.
Okay. All right. And Brandon, I already know what you think, but tell our listeners what you think of this one.
I love this episode. I think this episode was hilarious, and it's probably my favorite episode of the series so far.
Wow.
It doesn't have my favorite joke in the series. I think that's still the Da Vinci from season 1, right? That's still my favorite joke in the whole series so far. But I when I watch a show like this, even when I watch Simpsons and Family Guy, I don't often laugh, right? I'll watch and I'll be like, that's humorous and whatnot, and I enjoy watching them and I think that they're funny. I don't often have a vocal reaction when I watch a comedy show. Comedy is not my preferred genre, even though I watch some funny stuff. But I literally made noises 3 times when I watched this. I made laughing noises.
Hopefully those noises were laughing. Okay, thank you.
Yes. And the three moments were when the Denobulans' face blew up.
Yes.
That was great.
The timing on that was just absolutely perfect. The Mugato sex joke I thought was absolutely hilarious. And not the first time, but the second time that Shax ate the Mugato shit, I thought was hilarious. Right? So
all right.
So I don't know. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was really wonderful. It was firing on cylinders for almost the whole episode.
Almost, okay. As listeners have come to expect for these episodes, often Brandon and I feel completely the opposite.
But this time we don't. You love this one. You love this one.
No, I did not. I did not love this one. Well, but I promised to start positive, so I will start positive with this episode. So I thought the part with Tendi trying to get the physicals was cute. I didn't think it was really funny. I just thought it was like a cute plot line, and I could relate to that. And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. But just about everything else in the episode, I thought went way too far. I mean, first of all, they start out the episode with this ambujitsu thing where Mariner goes crazy and way too far and breaks teeth, and then Shax is like, "I'm early. I'm not going to do anything about this." For me, that was just really hard to watch. I know. Hopefully it wasn't meant to be, I mean, maybe it was meant to be funny, but I was just starting an episode in that place. I'm already I just don't like excessive violence for the sake of it. And then, the first of all, I know we'll get into it deep, but the plot line with Mariner where it's like, hey, there's these stories, she might be this, and it's so blindingly obvious to me that that's not the case, that it's something else. It just really distracted me from the whole episode. Even with the spotlight in the bar, I'm just what is going on here? And then the thing with the Mugatos, I just don't like gross out humor. I thought the part with the sex and the masturbation was just unnecessary and not funny for me. I guess Brandon, we definitely find different things funny, but just overall it was. And I was especially disappointed because last week I loved the episode. That was my favorite of all the Lower Decks episodes, even though I've been critical and had issues with a lot of the episodes. I love that. So I was going into this one, I was like, okay, I hope I really love this one too. And then I'm like, I don't love this one. I'm disappointed. But anyway, we'll get into it more. But that's how I felt. Okay, so interesting mixed reactions.
Before I want to jump into one thing first. I want to jump into the one part that I didn't like about the episode.
Okay.
So I also didn't like the beginning, the ambojitsu scene at the beginning, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm really tired of that old tired joke where the men think that they're better than the women at everything, and then it turns out that the women's just going to kick their asses. I'm tired of that joke. It has not been funny for an extremely long time. And of course, I mean, to me, as far as I'm concerned with the show, of course, that's the type of joke that they're going to do in this show, right? You know, like it's that old tired sitcom trope. And I don't know, it just didn't work for me.
And Mariner is basically like assaulting them at that point where it's gone like way too far, and she just like keeps going. And they're doing that for the purpose in the plot, like, oh, maybe she's just some like super trained kind of spy or soldier or something. I don't know. Yeah, I really, that really put me off at the beginning of the episode.
So I disagree. I don't think Mariner took it too far, because like for the situation in the plot that was happening, they're like, oh, we've gone out of our way to train a whole bunch because we want to kick Mariner's ass. Right? And then they're like, okay, take the kid's gloves off. And she's like, yes, now I can finally do this the way that I want to do it. And of course, they're unprepared for her actual abilities, right? Because, hey,
I guess so.
Men are stupid and they think they're better at everybody than anything, right? So, you know, I don't know. I don't think she went too far. That's exactly what they wanted to happen. And she beat the crap out of them.
That's what they say they wanted to happen. But I think as it was going on, they wanted it to stop, and she kept going. Is how
there was a consent issue there.
The Shax thing, though, that Shax is like, I thought that was funny when he's like, I'm early, don't worry about me. So they're playing the game.
For me, that was just disturbing, because clearly somebody's really getting hurt, and your person who's supposed to be in security is like, it's fine. I don't know. That bothered me too. But okay. Let's
Marina, did you have any thoughts on the opening scene, Marina?
Actually, it felt very Tom and Jerry violence to me. That's why it didn't really put me off necessarily. But
that's good.
Yeah, at the same time, it was, the whole thing with Shax, I thought that was funny as well. He's like, yeah, don't mind me, and he's just sitting there wearing his little shorts and his little towel. So it felt very Tom and Jerry, but the same thing. I think it was the counterpoint to the fact that at the end of the day, it's the guy's brains that actually win, as opposed to brute violence, which Mariner can easily hand out, obviously. So yeah, I think it was just they used it as a counterpoint to what they were getting the episode to, the direction they were getting the episode to go to.
Okay. Well, since we've started talking more about this, let's talk about the Mariner plotline a little bit more, just kind of overall. So there is that first scene, and then basically is it Boimler and Rutherford that are really suspicious of what Mariner's doing? Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
because the bartender tells them, right?
Yeah, because the bartender tells them something, and they're like, whatever. And then they look into the records, and they're like, oh, there should be some suspicious stuff. But of course, in the end, it's nothing like that. But Marina, go ahead.
Bartender clearly from like the New England area of the United States as well, with his accent, right? So,
yes, telling those stories. But like we've talked about the first scene, but like overall for that kind of Mariner plotline, what did you think, Marina?
I don't know. I thought it seemed silly from the beginning, because you kind of get that first like, well, maybe, but at the same time, you kind of like it is silly. She's definitely not. But then of course they're showing it so that Rutherford and Boimler are obviously starting to think, the way she catches the tricorder flying her, the way she's playing with the duck, the whole thing. And it's going, well, maybe. But then, it makes no sense. And when she gives an explanation, it actually makes sense that she's basically, she's extremely lonely as a person, as a character. So it kind of makes sense that she starts silly rumors about herself, and that she's mostly into like a single person hobbies, if you will. I mean, whether it's martial arts or something else. So all in all, I don't know. I thought it was an okay vehicle for the episode, especially again because it's leading to the resolution where you finally have Boimler and Rutherford save the day rather than Mariner. So
right,
yeah, I thought it was okay.
But I think that was the best part of it, that Boimler and Rutherford have this kind of interesting solution.
Because it's funny, it's funny that the way they kept thinking that, oh God, something is wrong with her. And of course, little things that kept happening kind of made him more and more sure, until she's kind of, no, I started the rumor myself, for crying out loud. And then they saved the day, and I think that was a great resolution to the episode. It was very much like that, they out-Ferengi'd the Ferengi.
Yeah.
Is reminiscent.
So, Chrissie,
reminiscent of Quark in House of Quark, with all the financial records, and Gowron's just like, no, just stop, whatever.
I love that scene with Gowron basically like what am I looking at? We're not supposed to look at this stuff. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But Chrissy, what do you think overall of kind of that Mariner focused plotline or the suspicions around her?
It was so obvious what was going on, and maybe that's just because I don't know. I mean, our generation grew up on sitcoms like this, and that's what Mike McMahon's playing on, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think anybody expected the average viewer to not realize what was going on. But I think you could actually twist that into a very interesting commentary on confirmation bias if you wanted to. Which I don't right now, but I'm just putting it out there because that would get a little heavier than I want to get. But
No, Chrissy, you've opened that door.
all right,
Go through
confirmation
it.
bias.
Yeah.
No, it's maybe there's not more than I'm thinking, but it's the idea that once you have something in your head and that's how it is in your head, then that's what you're going to see. But Boimler and Rutherford shouldn't believe this of her, even given what they're told, because of everything else they've dealt with her. And I think if it
But see, the problem is they have to believe it in order for the plot to move forward.
Yes, that's I understand that, and that's what I'm saying. That's it's the sitcom trope. But
To be fair, Boimler didn't believe it until Rutherford kept pushing it by coming
true.
up with more and more stuff,
That's
right?
true.
So like Boimler right off the bat was like, this is completely ridiculous, right? Because it is completely
Okay,
ridiculous.
so it's like Rutherford is running like, I don't know, a social media account that's pushing out misinformation, and eventually Boimler sees so much of it that he's like, yeah, maybe that's true.
No, Rutherford's the one who's just doubting everything and is sharing all the unreliable sources on Facebook, right? So he's the one who's
both.
sharing all the YouTube videos.
Yeah, okay.
so yes, but I do see where you could see a character like Mariner being undercover Starfleet security or Section 31 or whatever.
I mean, maybe, but like
I get where they're coming from with that.
The problem, if you step outside of the episode, is this is an episodic show meant to do certain things around certain characters. So there's no way that it's something like that, because that would completely change like who the character is and what she does.
Well, yeah,
so,
True.
yeah.
But the episode, like you say, I do want to say one thing. Occurred to
It would be just as ridiculous as if we had a main character and we suddenly found out 6 seasons into the show that they were genetically altered. Like that would just be freaking ridiculous if that happens.
Yeah.
So
5 seasons. And you know what? When I rewatch DS9, that works even though they didn't
does.
plan it somehow.
It does the same way Cisco being part prophet works, but that's what retconning is for. Hello.
Sometimes it works,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
No, that's all right. Just going back to the Ambojitsu thing, because I just thought of this while we were talking here. Mariner is purposefully hurtful to people she cares about. We'll go so far to say people she loves. Okay. And as I was thinking about that, you see the same thing in Rick and Morty. And I am definitely not going to psychoanalyze Mike McMahon because I don't have that kind of qualification. But
Are you sure?
yes, I'm
Okay.
in this case, yes. But I mean, if you see the family dynamic in Rick and Morty is very unhealthy, okay. But at the end of the day, they all do seem to love each other, even if they're hurting each other, sometimes intentionally. In the meantime, and I think that's reflected with Mariner. That's. I will not assume that has anything to do with Mike McMahon's life, but that is something that he writes. And ideas that he creates. And so I think that's really interesting because I wrote down here the first watch of the episode, why is she so hurtful to her friends?
Yeah.
And that's part of it. And also what she said about pushing people away. If you don't let people in enough to actually, make a connection, and when they leave, when they run off to the Titan with their promotion, then it doesn't hurt as much.
It's interesting to think about because, if there was somebody I was friends with and the way of showing their love or friendship was to hurt me, I would be like, you are not my friend anymore because I don't like being hurt.
Yeah.
But I hadn't thought about it that way. Yeah. Brandon, I'll talk about the Mariner plotline overall.
It's kind of silly and ridiculous, but to me, what makes it worth it is that final scene, kind of when they're talking to her And they say, we actually kind of started to believe this because, we were wondering, why would you be a friend with people like us, right? And the moment of realization that they actually are all really good friends with each other, right? So, and, while you say, Chrissy, like, and Justin, you were like, if a friend was hurting me, I wouldn't want to be friends with them because you're not really my friend if you're hurting me. There are people who have, like cultures and whatnot. Well, not cultures. I don't mean cultures. I mean like group cultures from where you work is what I mean when I say this. I worked in a place where the humor at the workplace was very negative. Yeah. Right. And that was the type of culture that was built within my work environment. Right.
I'm saying is I think that can work for some people. That does not work for me.
Right. And I don't want it to work for me anymore. And I work very hard to not do that because I don't want to be that person anymore. But, it still comes out every once in a while, right, as well. That type of negative humor, that put-down humor. And I wish it didn't come out as much as it does, but it still comes out once in a while. But to me, it made it worth it at the end. And I mean, I think the major question is, why does she want to have this opinion of her, right? So she's a person, this is more interesting for the Mariner character, because she's a person who obviously doesn't like the system, right? Because in the pilot episode, she goes out of her way to circumnavigate the system to get the people the stuff that they need, right? But so she clearly doesn't agree with how Starfleet does things, right? So she keeps getting transferred from ship to ship. Like, why is she even in Starfleet anymore? And then she's giving this, she's spreading this rumor because she knows that the bartender's going to spread it, that she's a secret agent and whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. So why would she want to label herself with that? I don't know. I think it's a lot more questions for Mariner than anything else.
Yeah, because she heard it would make for a good episode. No, I mean, like, it's a really good question. I do wonder, if they're going somewhere with that or going to build more on that. I just don't know.
I don't think they will. I think it's a one and done.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But, okay. Anything else on the? Oh, I guess also we alluded to it, but Boimler and Rutherford do have this cute diplomath game that's about like diplomacy and compromise and stuff. That was pretty cool.
Leave everybody miserable and you've made a good deal.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, we both lost something. Victory. That was cute.
It was nice to see them working together too, just like last week when we had Mariner and Tendi together. So that's great.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let us dive more deeply into, I guess, the main part of this, which is the Mugatos, which are being taken advantage of at this Ferengi place. But then, at the end of it all, it becomes a preserve because Boimler and Rutherford convince the Ferengi that they can make more money as a nature preserve. So, Marina, what did you think about kind of this one overall?
That I find that a lot of fun, and yes, the sex scene we can talk about it until cows come home. But overall, I actually thought it was pretty funny, and then in the end, they, like I said, they out Ferengi the Ferengi because you can't go against the prophets. I don't know. I thought it was great. I was glad to see that they brought back the Mugatos because I don't know. It's one of those alien creatures that I happen to personally rather like. I have a couple of I almost said Gumato. Oh my god. I have a couple of Mugato plushies actually in my Star Trek collection. So
I mean, it's okay to call them Gumatos now. So.
What did Boimler said? There are 6 different accepted pronunciations, so we're all good.
Yep.
So I like that. I thought it was pretty clever, and then it's kind of funny that Captain Freeman says, we have Ferengi trying to do this nature preserve, and it's kind of like, yes, laughable, but good. I loved it. I thought it was a great idea.
Okay. Chrissy?
Yeah. It kind of felt like Jurassic Park in that whole, maybe it's a little bit of a stretch, but that whole idea of let's have a bunch of otherwise difficult to find, if not impossible to find animals in a place that is, they can then be gawked at and you can spend money gawking at them. But that's just me. I don't know. But I thought it was really funny because, we have those warnings on the front of stuff now in the United States. I don't know if elsewhere this exists, but there's the warnings. It's okay, so it's rated as TV-14 or whatever it is, and then it said V for violence, and there's something else, and then it was...
This one had a... Go ahead.
Oh, it had a sexual content warning.
Yes.
Yeah, it said sexual content, and
Right.
I was like, what is going to be in this episode?
And so, like, Jay and I looked at each other, we're like, I don't think I've ever seen a Star Trek episode with a sexual content warning. When they show Nemesis on television, it'll have a sexual content warning. But other than that, it's nothing. And then this is what it turned out to be with the Mugato. Oh, that was ridiculous and wonderfully funny. And all I could think of was the
I mean, they just had to get different angles of them having sex. Like, okay,
well,
fine.
You know.
Like, all right.
And I know I talk about Mel Brooks' History of the World far too much, but the opening sequence of that is the oh, you know what I'm talking about. All right,
Yes.
good. The opening sequence
I haven't seen it for a while.
Is a bunch of apes standing around. It's a takeoff on the 2001: A Space Odyssey, and they're standing around the obelisk, and all of a sudden they discovered themselves, let's say, to put it politely, and that's the opening sequence, and it's like that's all I could think of with that Mugato, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny because of that. So, yeah.
Okay.
But aside from that part of it, I think they missed an opportunity to bring up Rom, because these Ferengi, and I realize this is, it's a cartoon and we don't want to get too deep, but the Ferengi could have said, when they said, haven't you ever heard of Quark? You could say, well, yeah, but I've heard of his brother Rom, and we're trying to not do things the way he's doing things because, the Grand Nagus. So I think that would have been a cute little just, throw it in. But again, people aren't necessarily familiar with DS9, so that's okay.
Yeah. Brandon, tell us more about why you love this part of the episode, I guess.
I love this part of the episode for the same reason that I loved the collector's ship episode 2 episodes ago. I wasn't able to join you guys in the discussion for. And that is that some other people solved the problem this week. And that was nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really love that. I loved it how it was Rutherford and Tendi 2 episodes ago, I think it was, and then how it was Rutherford and Boimler this time, and they came up with a completely different solution. So I thought that was wonderful. I thought it was a lot of fun to get an alien race that we, from TOS, get a few more TOSers. The Mugato. It's such a really great species.
Ooh, is that the 7th pronunciation?
That's another pronunciation. I got to say, it surprises me. Like, I think I know a lot of Star Trek history. I never once in my entire life caught that it said Gumato in the end credits for that episode.
Oh, really?
And I had never heard this story that DeForest Kelly couldn't say. DeForest
Kelly, really?
I had not heard this, so this is new to me. So
it's such a deep cut. It is such a deep cut.
That is a very deep cut. Yes, I love it. So, but to me, this was a very Star Trek episode, like this plot line, right? With the Federation coming in to stop this illegal trade of these species of alien. I don't know. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was really cute. It was great to see the Ferengi. They were a believable species to have this story be told on. I love the Ferengi in Deep Space Nine, and it's great to see them again and to continue having them on, because I don't think a lot of people like the Ferengi, so it's nice to get an alien species that I really like to watch. But like other than that, I mean, this was where all the comedy was for me. But it works, and the way that they play with your perception of things in the show really worked here too, because we had the episode where Rutherford wanted to change jobs, and they're all like, "Consider your request transfer granted," right? Like, so they play with you there. So seeing Mariner catch that thing, seeing her be like, "Don't get in my way or else," like that's the type of humor they built up in the show, that these people are probably not actually acting this way, right? It's just the way that the joke plays on the show. So,
okay.
Yeah, those kinds of things. But yes, definitely having Mugalu on the show is very good. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. This was, I know you loved it, Brendan, but this was my least favorite part of the episode, I guess for a couple of reasons. So first, I found out it was, first of all, the title says Mugato, Gumato, so I knew about this story with DeForest Kelly, and I was like, okay, so they're going to acknowledge, that it's said different ways. And they said it like 6 different ways, and I didn't think it was funny, because I knew, for me, it's not funny when I expect something, and I expected them to do that. They did it, and I was like, okay, that's not funny. But then also, like with the Mugato, I think it is good that, you know, they're helping to make it their treatment better. But, and maybe I'm trying to put too many expectations on this show, but I much rather would have had it be the case that there was still something funny about it, but they actually find that they have more intelligence and they should be treated like sentient beings, but maybe they just have like some weird or bizarre customs or something like that. I thought there was a missed opportunity there. And also the Ferengi, I know it was explained like these are kind of last outpost style Ferengi, but I feel like, especially considering everything we've seen in Deep Space Nine, I'm far more interested even in a comedy to see Ferengi that aren't stereotypical and that break out of that mold that TNG started. And also, this is just a general thing for the episode. So a couple episodes ago, we introduced Kayshawn, and he had like nothing to say or do last episode or this episode. Are they going to do anything with him? Is there any kind of like thing about who's really the security chief now? I feel like I want that answered, and he's just like there in the background for a couple shots. So I don't know. There was just like the resolution was great, but getting there and having what I felt was just unnecessary jokes about sex and eating poop, which is like not things that I find funny, just didn't work for me. Sorry, I'm being really critical on this one, right. But it was my least favorite part. And it kind of colored how I saw the whole episode because it was kind of the main thing that was going on here. So
the poo part was gross.
All right.
I 100% with you.
I thought it was gross. I was like, okay, he's eating poop. And then the second time he did, I just had to look away and I was like, why are you doing this? But
hilarious.
You know, Brandon thought it was hilarious. So, yeah, I guess...
like, they're clearly on the right track. And she says that, look, we're clearly on the right... Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Like, that's what's
that one was funny, yes.
I see.
There's literally no need for him to do it, and he does it anyways. Right?
There is no need for him to do it in the first place, so I don't know. But anyway, I know we've talked about this for a little bit. But anything else on the Mugato plot?
No. They should have had Ben Stiller do a voice.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Or who played Mugato in the Zoolander movies?
Yeah.
Will Ferrell.
I haven't seen it.
Will Ferrell.
Yes.
You guys seen Zoolander? The first one?
Yes.
Not,
okay. Yeah. I know.
But it is past.
Let me talk about
past
more
time
old
to
movies.
have.
Yeah.
That's okay. But it is past time to have Ben Stiller voice somebody on Star Trek.
For sure.
Yes.
I just want to say I went back and I looked at some of the stills from A Private Little War from TOS, and that Mugalu, he was pretty well endowed.
Big horn.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Wait to look these things up until after the show is done, okay? I can't see you from like your chest down, so I'm going too far. Okay, maybe Chrissy should cut that out or put it at the end of the show.
I can do that.
Leave it in.
Good
leave
into
it
the
in.
show. All right.
He wants to leave it in.
See.
I mean, clearly, in order to fit it in this podcast, Brandon, in the future, I'm going to have to make a bunch of poop and sex jokes for you. So now I know where we stand. Anyway, moving on from that.
That's going to be tough when we get to the serious shows again.
See all those poop and sex jokes in Strange New Worlds? Yeah. So, all right. There was one other part that we alluded to, which is basically what Tendi gets to do, which is kind of going through the list that T'Ana gives her of people getting physicals. And the last kind of mysterious person is T'Ana herself, which I thought was kind of cool. But but Marina, what did you think about this part with Tendi and T'Ana?
First of all, I love the character of Dr. T'Ana. It's like every time I see her do stuff, I'm like, every single friend of mine that has a cat is probably just peeing their pants, probably, because she behaves like...
that's one of the reasons I love it.
It's like if your cat was, a walking, talking thing, that's probably what the cat would be doing.
Well, and it would definitely be like, human, I don't care who you are, do this for me. It's very...
And so, that part I liked. I mean, it was obvious. I thought that this whole B-plot was specifically to show the difference in Tendi, like the change in her character. She becomes more assertive. So I think that was part of it. But overall, it's still, again, I just enjoy whatever Dr. Tana is doing. And in this case, it kind of worked when she finally catches her and the poor thing has a broken arm. And then Dr. Tana's like, yeah, that was nothing. Why was I making such a big deal out of it? That was another fun bit. So it was a nice little B-plot that they put in there.
Yeah, I think Ta'ana might be my favorite character on the show because, she's just so unapologetically like a cat-like sentient being that's like all about what she wants and everybody get out of my way to do this. But she does still care about like, caring for her patients and not killing people. So that's good. Yeah. So Chrissy, what'd you think of the plotline with Tendi and Ta'ana?
I love this. This was fantastic. It is. That has become a Star Trek trope. As I put in the outline, Starfleet officers always avoid physicals. And
especially captains.
Yes.
But
not this time, I guess. So that's good.
But this time, I guess Freeman had already gotten her physical, which is cool. Point for Freeman.
Yeah, go Freeman. That's one positive thing we can say without any question. So yeah, I love that. And I love that it was just like a tricorder scan when it was done. Yeah. It wasn't even like when Kirk was avoiding his physical and then he had to kick that thing in the wall because apparently
that looks like hard work when he's like basically on his back, like kicking upward. Like,
that's a good cardio.
I'm tired looking at it.
Yeah. I knew Tiana was going to be the last holdout. That was like once you get to that point, it's pretty obvious that it's going to be. So. To me. Yeah. But I thought that was really good, and I love that they picked up to continue the Shax and Tiana romance. F buddies, I don't know what you want to call it, but that was good. That whole thing at the end with
should give a sexual content warning for this episode.
Yeah. And there you go. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. Okay, Brandon, what'd you think about the Tendi Ta'ana plot?
I really like this for the Tendi portion of it, just seeing her as a character who's built a lot of self-confidence in herself in this episode. She was given a task and she did it to her ability. Even when the task was not completed and the doctor said stop, she was still able to figure it out and get her task done. So that's twice now she's worked well with the doctor. There's this one and then there's the sex box that she got. So lots of sex this year in the show.
It was traditionally a sex box, but I want to think that Ta'ana is really just, it makes her comfortable, but maybe I didn't read into that the way that you apparently are reading all the sex into things, Brandon.
Well,
I think they should change.
The box wasn't a sex box; it was the thing inside it. Sorry, go ahead.
The thing inside of it. Yes. I don't know about you guys though, but I'm going to start an online petition. I think that they should change this show title to Lower Sex.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Just go all out, make it the pornographic Star Trek show.
Hey, we had that discussion. We had that discussion back on the Icheb eyeball ripping out episode of Star Trek Picard, and where do they get to draw the line on Star Trek?
Where do they get to draw the line?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's at Horned Beasts is where they draw the line.
Draw the same. That's the same place X-Files drew the line in that one episode.
Yes.
Size a guy. If that porn parody doesn't exist for this already, it must now. Lower sex.
Don't worry, if you search for it.
I'm not going to go looking.
Okay.
No, you've opened that door, Chrissy. You go through that door.
There is at least one listener looking right now.
I'm sure.
So, anyway.
So,
wow.
Chrissy, I do have to ask, though, because I actually know the reference you're talking about. How did you just pronounce that episode title from the X-Files?
Size a guy.
Okay, because I've never known how to say it, and I've always said Szilagyi, but I have no idea.
I did not know either until a friend of mine told me that was how it was supposed to be pronounced. Mm-hmm. And maybe they were just full of it, and I'm saying it wrong, but...
And that reference is exactly why I just said Horned Beast.
Yes.
Is because of that episode.
Go sell the mystery.
You caught my deep-cut cultural reference.
Love
awesome.
it. Yay.
All right. So anything else on the plot with Ta'ana?
No, I don't have anything else to add there, no.
Okay. So, at the end of the show, we do like to talk about our favorite canon connections and Lower Decks. Whoa. Did I miss something?
Can we finish talking about the episode? Can we talk about the C-plot at all?
Yes, which is
Captain Freeman and the ship. The
Oh my
the
God,
destroyed
that's
shuttle.
right.
that's like a D plot, but yes, okay, fine. Let's talk about it.
And that was pretty good too.
I'll admit it's not the best C plot, and it's kind of forgettable. But yeah, I noticed that you guys didn't have it on the list here. So, but
I didn't because it was just a short sequence.
I
but
forgot about it when I was making the list.
I miscounted, and I actually did laugh out loud 4 times. And the fourth was when the guy's crying. He's crying. What have you done? Right to like the destroyed ship. I thought that was pretty funny. So yes,
all right.
Very Paul F. Tompkins. I think he did the voice for that guy. So
yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, that part did happen. I hadn't thought about it because I didn't think it was that funny, but we are in such different tracks.
Spent all this
today,
time
Brandon.
talking about the sex part, and you're like, yeah, that part happened, about the thing that was just not at all anything untoward. Okay.
It was pretty short. It was like 2 minutes or something. But anyway. Okay, so can we move on to canon connections? All right. So we like to talk about our favorite connections to canon. I know Lower Decks has lots of stuff, but Marina, did you have a favorite one from this episode?
As I already mentioned, every time they said Mugato, it was very warm feeling. I love the fact that we see denobulans, with doing the puffer fish effect. I love the fact, I'm not too crazy the fact that this is the old style Ferengi, the TNG Ferengi, but at the same time, like, it was very instantly recognizable what it is, the connection.
Yeah.
What else? Well, again, this is something that it hit me the moment I saw it, and I saw that pretty much everyone picked up on it. When Boimler and Rutherford are hiding from the Mugato, it looks exactly like the shot from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
When the hobbits are hiding from the I forget the name. Sorry.
the Death Eater.
Yeah.
Almost
got it. But yeah, that was great. And so those are probably the ones that kind of stick out immediately. And I'm sure if we start digging, little bits and pieces will pop up similarly to
I'm sure there's more. I have one. We'll see if anybody else mentions, but go ahead.
I'll tell you one of my. So other than the denobulans, my other favorite one was the one for Marina, where they they built a thing and you thought it was going to be a cannon, but it turned out to just be like a projecting device.
It's just one of those antique looking holographic projectors, I guess. But yeah, I'm seeing that. I was like, is that the cannon from Marina? Oh, okay.
I thought that was awesome.
Okay, was that your favorite?
It's the Nazgul, by the way.
Yeah.
Nazgul, thank you. God, I'm just
hiding
going
from. I had to look
in
it
my
up.
head.
It's important.
Chrissie, do you have a favorite connection?
I mean, the having the Ferengi be the TNG Ferengi was pretty good. I did love the part with the denobulans, in part because when I was looking at them, I'm like, are those Cardassians? And I'm like, no, they're not Cardassians. And then when I did the pufferfish thing, and I was like, oh, they're denobulans. That's really cool.
Well, generally speaking,
I love that, and I wanted to follow them for the episode.
I know, why were they there? What were they doing? Kind of survey of something.
They were there
about
for the puff.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot one other thing that I thought was hilarious was like the nature guy that they came across, and he's like,
Patingi. I know. God, that's
Patingi. I'm Patingi.
I have 5 books.
I have 5 books. Oh, you wrote them? No, I just have them. And then he's like, gets his head ripped off. I thought that was hilarious too. We forgot about that. Sorry.
And the thing is
it was not funny when his head got ripped off, but okay.
I had to look up because first thought, and the fact that he was speaking with that particular accent, I'm like, they're not making fun of Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
But probably with the accent they are, but I'm almost positive that this is actually a reference to that the gentleman who got killed by the bear because he did the Grizzly Man.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
maybe.
that's a rough one. It's a little bit. That was a heavy one. Like, boom, head gets ripped off. But something I wanted to mention because we're talking about the Ferengi and all the other. You can see there are a couple of shots, and I definitely saw that in the reviews from Trek or Trek movie that we see a Zinti officer in the mess hall. But if you, I caught there was a shot where you can see a Benzite walking down the corridor. I'm like, that's a pretty.
Really?
They literally sticking in like all this really unusual species here and there. That was fun.
Nice. By the way, for Patingi, I totally didn't pick up on this until I was reading it later that he's actually a Tellarite because I thought
I thought he was a Tellarite.
And Yeah. I know, like, if I look at the image now, it's got, like, kind of the set-in eye sockets and then pig nose. But, like, I wasn't thinking... what caught me was, like, that sounds like an Australian accent. Is he supposed to be Australian or what? But, yeah.
And here's the Jurassic Park connection, because I didn't read that as Steve Irwin or the Grizzly Man.
Yeah.
But I read that as the game warden. Clever girl.
Yeah.
You know.
So you thought it was weird that he had an Australian accent?
Well, yes, I know that Elnor does as well, and he's Romulan, but, you know, depends on who you learn English from.
Yeah. So
I was just going to say,
said.
what about Irish Romulans there?
Learned it from somebody who is Irish. I mean, that's easy.
Irish Romulans are canon. That's just how that is.
And who knew, but we definitely needed Romulan, Irish
So is
Romulans.
Australian
Tellarite.
pig people,
Tellarites,
Tellarites, yeah. Yeah,
I didn't pick up that he was Tellarite either. Like now that you said it, it makes sense. But I actually thought it was just completely unknown species just walking through the forest.
Yeah.
He was too friendly to be a Tellarite.
Yeah, he was just so agreeable, willing to, like, walk to his death for them. Like, okay.
Well, he didn't think he was walking to his death. He thought he was one with the
I mean, maybe if he...
Spagatos.
Instead of reading the books, he had actually, like, done some studying or something. But, okay, so I want to mention one thing. So the Kzinti, which is the kind of cat-like species from the TAS episode Slave or Weapon, that is the one that was my favorite because I just love to see them going by, and I love TAS references. But also, one thing I didn't realize until I was seeing some of this stuff recently is we were told originally this show takes place in 2380, and now I think season 2 is actually in 2381 because all the Memory Alpha references to episodes like this are 2381. So small thing, but now it's another year has passed, which is kind of like what happened in, like, the TNG era where one season is 1 year, but I hadn't thought about that. Anyway, all right. We've talked about this one quite a bit, so I think we definitely had some mixed, different impressions of it. But Marina, it was wonderful having you here for the discussion today. So
can I add one final thought before we do that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking about it. So the Mariner plotline did make me think of one previous Star Trek episode where, you know, they would question, you know, what we know about the crew, and that would be the Voyager conspiracy. So
Voyager conspiracy, okay.
We're questioning what, you know, like, we all know this, but the way that 7 of 9 goes through the detailed information does make you question.
See,
it's more believable in the Voyager conspiracy than it is here.
It's more believable in the Voyager, although you'd know because of the nature of the show that's not really what's going on. But I really like the Voyager conspiracy because of just how intricate, like, her conspiracy theory gets. And if you're like, what if it was like, oh no, it's not like that. But yeah, I really like that one a lot. It's a good connection. All right, so. And that's okay. So, Marina, thanks for joining us today. It was wonderful to have you here on the show. And let our listeners know where they can find you online if they wanted to connect.
Well, thank you very much for having me. This is fun. I mean, I'm always happy to start and talk about Star Trek. You can find me on Facebook. I'm a part of the admin team for the Star Trek Experiences group, Star Trek Convention Experiences group, the formerly unofficial STLV group. And I'm also now adminning the unofficial Star Trek Missions group, which used to be specifically for New York. But now that we have missions conventions to look forward to, that should be fun, and everyone's welcome to join. You can also find me on Twitter, same deal, under my full name. And as was mentioned in the beginning, I'm co-hosting Shoreleaf, your Star Trek Convention community podcast, which you can find both on Facebook under that very long name and on Twitter at Shoreleaf.
All right, excellent. Yeah, thanks so much again for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, Brandon, where can people find you when you're not thinking about how incredibly hilarious sex and poop are? Sometimes together. Sometimes separate. Sorry. Go ahead.
Rick Santorum.
Justin.
I'll just leave it there.
Hey, you start. No.
No, I believe Mike McMahon started this one.
That's true. Yes, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Brandon Matella, and I don't spend a lot of time interacting very much anymore. I mostly am just on there watching.
Oh, God.
Lurker.
But
Please, watch.
Lurker. Yes.
Watch safely and with consent.
I actually am not interacting a lot on Twitter right now. I post a few things here and there, but I don't do a lot online right now. The other places you can find me are here on the network with a show called Franchise Fatigue, which is all about movies, remakes, and sequels. That's a lot of fun. And we will be wrapping up our discussion on the Godzilla franchise with Godzilla vs. Kong. And then I think we're jumping into Mad Max after that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then you can find me on Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast over on the Fandom Podcast Network.
All right. Well, Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not wondering what life would be like if one of your cats was your doctor?
Oh, what do you guys think? They're sitting on the couch over there. They're like, no, don't want that.
We would tell you to get a physical.
They would, and then bring home treats. That's the only thing they'd tell. Bring home treats. That's all.
That's something we need in Lower Decks. Anna needs to be really into like the latest treat fad.
Oh, like a Scooby Snacks thing. Oh, that'd be beautiful. And nacho flavored treats, because that would bring back to the other.
Yeah.
Anyway,
why not?
Okay. Right. So in addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with the Szilagys here on the UFP network. And that's a twice-a-week history podcast that I do with my partner, Jason. I'm happy to chat about our shows in the Federation Council Chambers on Facebook. And I'm on Twitter at The Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where I tweet about Star Trek history and leftist politics.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter. I'm at TrekFan4747, where I tweet about nothing but Star Trek, and I do not watch you in that way. And you can find me on Facebook in our group, the Federation Council Chambers, and I hope you'll join us there. All right, Brandon, tell us about other podcasts on the network.
Oh, we got lots of fun shows here on the network. You can check out Amy Nelson, Patrick Devlin, Ken Tripp discussing All Good Things, which covers all Star Trek. Rhea Papageorgiou, Kevin Scharf, and Amy Nelson and Joe Keegan cover TNG only on Galaxy Class. And Chris Tribuzio, Patrick Devlin, Casey Pettitt discuss all things under the Disney umbrella with Mickey's Marvels. And Arrow stuff, the Arrowverse. Always hold on to Arrow with Lance Laster and Cavante Chillis. And also, Sasquatch. They had a new episode drop today as we're recording here. Yeah. I took a listen to it. It was a lot of fun. Ken Tripp and Zach Moore discuss all things in the Bigfoot multimedia verse. It's a lot of fun. Be sure to check it out.
It really is. All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to our executive producers, Ken Tripp, Tony Robinson, and Zach Moore. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Tony Robinson for the awesome show art. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and please subscribe. If you want to reach out, you can find the network on Twitter at UFP Earth or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the UFP podcasts in our Facebook group called the Federation Council Chambers, or you can email us at infinitediversity@ufp.earth. On the next episode, we'll be talking about Episode 5 of Season 2 of Lower Decks, which, according to TrekCore, is called An Embarrassment of Duplers, where we'll find out what the hell a dupler is, apparently. Do you guys know what that is, or are they making up this reference?
I think I know what it is.
You think? What do you think it is?
What if it's a dupler means duplicate, and we get to see the other Boimler?
Oh, maybe there are many duplicates. Maybe they've made like 200 of him or something. Because why not? And then they have to be destroyed in the end. Oh, that's really dark. But that is really good. I hadn't thought about that, Brennan. Maybe it's duplicates. Or maybe everybody on the ship gets duplicated in a deadlock situation. I don't know about that. All right. Well, we will talk about that episode and see if Brendan's right about that. And until then, peace and long life.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.